What I like about Global Education 3000 is it's more than just the people who came up with the idea. It's also a team. They connect. They really connect with each other. And when I arrived this morning to do the strategy session about LinkedIn, you saw that they were still thinking with their own heads up, but during the day they melted together into one cohesion about understanding about what the potential could look like. And what I see is that there is a great future in this concept and this project. I'll be looking forward to become part of the next steps to make that dream a realization. Good morning, everyone. My name is Bert Verdonk, and I brought with me Veronique de Braker, and today we're going to do a strategy session. The goal is to show you a number of things you can do on LinkedIn. The important part is that it is not a training, so it is a strategy session. So we're going to show you a lot of things. There's going to be training afterwards where you can implement everything. Of course, during the session you can start doing some of the things, but it's not the goal to have everything implemented by the end of the day. By the way, if you do have any questions, please feel free to interrupt and to ask any question. There are no dumb questions. There are no difficult questions. But if you do have a difficult one, I have Veronique here to help you with that. What is important also to know is that we're going to have a soft start, and we'll pick up speed as we go along, right? If there's anything you don't understand, if I go too fast, too slow, if there's a word you don't understand, just please ask. We're here to facilitate you. It's not about us delivering the session to you, it's more about getting you into awareness and understanding of everything. Is that alright to agree on?
Yeah.
Yes? Any questions so far? No? Alright, cool. Let's get started then. One of the first things we want to mention is that when people look at training, is that often they don't get results. By the way, you do have a little booklet there. Maybe it's a good thing to start with on the first real page is a kind of an action plan to write down your name there, because all of the booklets are the same or similar, so that if you leave your booklet on the table or at lunch or somewhere, that people can hand it back to you. And it is a kind of an action plan. So what happens a lot is that during the session, that people will get some insights, see, I need to work on my profile, I need to work on this and this and this. If you take notice during the day, take notes, one of the things that will happen is that tomorrow, the day after, or next week, you will have a checklist for yourself to complete. Because what happens is that we all get caught up in the everyday whirlwind of activities, as busy as we all are. And so next week you might say, what was it again that I wanted to do? And then you just take out your manual and then you go to your action list and you know what it is that you wanted to do in the first place. Also, the handouts are there, so don't panic if you don't have if you haven't seen everything. It's all in there. And at the end there are some extra pages, let's say, that you can write on the back, and also last page there. All right. So, without further ado, why don't people get results from training? Because they don't allocate enough time after a training to implement it. Like I said, today is more of a strategy session, so I'm going to show you a lot of the things. There's not enough time to implement everything as we go along. Of course, one of the things we'll look into as well is that we're going to see how and what is the best way to implement it later on. Because some people will be at different speeds with LinkedIn. Just out of curiosity, most of you, all of you have seen your LinkedIn profiles, but does everyone in the whole team has a LinkedIn profile? Are you aware of that?
I think so. Yes.
Yeah? Okay.
She doesn't? Or just
okay. Yeah, just setting up, yeah, that's what I heard.
But the rest of us as well.
Okay, perfect. And what about Twitter?
No.
No?
Yeah, we have Twitter.
I have
Global Education.
I don't think
Okay.
very good, but okay.
You don't use it?
Yes.
Yes. Very good answer.
I don't like Twitter.
And Facebook?
Imitation, but okay.
No?
Yes, not yet.
Individual? Not yet?
We have it, yeah, please, not
Alright.
implemented.
And Zing?
How?
What?
Zing?
We don't
Xing?
No.
Viadeo?
No.
Internally? Sensu?
No.
V-contactor? No? Okay. Now we can go on for hours and hours. There's so many platforms out there. But today's the focus on LinkedIn, of course. Alright, good to know. So one of the things you need to look after is that once you start, creating some actions, what's important to allocate time. It's not going to work if you don't apply it. Alright? So that's one of the major things where people don't get major results if they don't apply it afterwards. Another thing is that people get stuck in the doing because training was too theoretical. What I will do is I will drop in and out of LinkedIn as well. I do everything live, so let's keep our fingers crossed that Murph is not around the corner, or at least not in the room. So we will work with examples that are coming from you, and I'll use them from my own profile, right, to help you with that. Some people don't have the depth of knowledge to ask valuable questions. One of the things that we come across is that sometimes people, after a session, they are still, let's say, if you don't implement it, you will be stuck at beginners level questions, and not because you start doing, because you start working on your profiles, because you start working on groups or activities or even proactive strategies. What you'll see is you come across some boundaries or some unknown stuff. Well, if you don't apply it, you cannot ask in-depth questions. So that's where you need to be aware of that. This might happen. Other factors in the business or in the school block results that your offer is not up to speed yet. I know it's a starting project, that your product is not ready, the reputation. You don't have a strong brand now. Is that fair to say? Yes. Yes. So one of the things that you'll see is that sometimes it takes a while for people to pick up a brand, or especially if it's a new brand. So it's not because you're broadcasting it that people will get it at the first time, right? So be aware of that. We'll drop in sales, marketing, recruiting. We'll have different topics as we go along. All right. And sometimes people have unreasonable expectations. They want results within a minute or within 24 hours. It's not going to happen. It's going to take a while. All right. One of the things we say is that when you start using LinkedIn, is do it often, so frequently, and with little steps. So rather than booking in a half day, let's say next week's Friday, to do all your LinkedIn stuff, what happens in reality is that when it comes to Friday morning, you have so many other priorities, fires to fight and stuff, that a half day get postponed again and again and again, right? Procrastination, it's not yet on the disease list, but we consider it as a disease, so people keep on postponing stuff. So what we say is that 9 minutes a day would be a perfect rhythm for most of you. So if you do it little and often, 9 minutes a day, you will see incremental results, and at a certain point you get a tipping point where you get a nice flow of results coming in eventually. One of the things we're going to show you today is that it is more than just having a profile on LinkedIn. We're going to start a machine for you, right? A machine where you will not only start reaching out to people, but also start attracting the right people. Of course, it's key to understand about who are the people that you'd be interested in. And the briefing that we got is that mainly you're also looking at sponsors and ambassadors, right? So we'll have a chat about that.
Actually, it's also to go to B2B because there they can help us.
Perfect. And LinkedIn is a good platform for that. All right, cool. Good to hear. What's on the agenda? The first thing to start with is goals and objectives. One of the things we're going to do is do a little round table, so that you introduce yourself briefly, not just for us, but also for the people who are looking at watching.
Then you have to come and stand there then.
I think so. That's a good idea. It's always good to bring a little bit of anxiety. But hey, you're a school project, so it must be too hard to stand in front of an audience. So we'll talk about goals and objectives. So we'll get in details there. We'll talk about some fundamental principles of networking, which also are applied in the online world. Without these principles, it's going to be very hard. Now, what I've been briefed about and what I've seen on your website and material that we've found, I think that most of these principles are already subconsciously in your minds, but it's good to have them top of mind so you can actively start working with them. And you will see once you embrace them, it's going to flow. The LinkedIn Strategy Matrix for organizations is a matrix that we've created, Jan and myself, how you can leverage LinkedIn throughout your organization. one of the things that we see is that a lot of people are using LinkedIn from an individual